the very first video I did in this series 2 weeks ago, I had like a bubble vest on, and I listened to the audio quality with everything else, from my knowledge, like identical, and the audio wasn't great in that video. And then I released the week after the follow-up, the second. It wasn't really anything related, but similar vibe. And I had this same type of shirt on, and I had this clip-on microphone, same setup, everything, and it sounded very, very, very good. So I felt like with this setup, in order to get the audio the way that it needs to be for like me talking, I need not to be wearing that bubble vest, because I think any movement was like catching any of those, the static, not static, but you know what I mean, like rubbing against that material or whatever. Maybe next week I'll like bring that bubble vest here and have it on at the first part of the video, just to like do another little test. But today what I wanted to talk a little bit about is, this morning I was at a cafe and I wanted to use Ableton Live on my MacBook. And I've been like on this journey to kind of like spend a lot more time in Ableton to like understand it better and like make it make more sense for me musically, right? In terms of like my workflow, right? You can do, it's like an open canvas. You can do so many different things with it. But I'm kind of like chipping away, like learning it, you know, piece by piece. And to that point, there were like about 5 to 7 questions I had on workflow specific things. And I wanted to talk a little bit about how I was using ChatGPT to kind of help me as like a Ableton expert. And to that point, what I was doing is like, I was saying to myself, like, man, I wonder if Ableton can do this, or how to do this in Ableton. Like, I'll give you just one example right off the top, right? Let's see. All right, so I spend a lot of time in Session View in Ableton, right? I spend most of my time there, like 90% of the time. And for me, having like a musical idea going with like 7 to 10 tracks, or maybe not that many, maybe like, I don't know, 7 tracks, right? 7 different tracks going. And I'm like, all right, this sounds too much, but everything makes sense, but maybe I want to pull some of these sounds out. So I like know how to hit one of the F keys to like mute certain sections. So say if I have like 7 different sounds going, boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, all right, let me just experiment and see what sounds best. Let me take out sound number 4, sound number 3, sound number 1. I'm like, okay, I really like the way this sounds. So I have a few things muted by just pressing a button. Like, okay, I'm vibing, I like this. Now I wanna capture this. I want to create a new scene in Ableton that is only playing the stuff that I'm hearing right now. How do I do that without having to do so many clicks, right? That was a question I had, right? It turns out that there's a way to kind of do it, but not really, right? You could do, I think it's Command Shift or Command Alt I think, don't quote me, but because I don't remember, but I think it's that. And that will make a new scene of the clips that are playing, not the ones that are unmuted, right? So you have to like have those other clips stopped, the ones that I just muted, and that requires me to take my mouse cursor and click the little small square, stop, stop, stop. That is not intuitive, that is not fun, that's not creative, that's not instant, right? So that was a question I had for ChatGPT. Hey, specifically, is there a way to do this? And the answer was no. And I'm like, okay. But for me, what was really cool is like just asking questions like that. And that was a negative. That was a, oh man, it can't do that. Okay. But there were a few positives, right? There were a few things where I'm like, oh, I want to know how to do this. Like, I don't know, if I have a 2-bar loop going and I want to create a variation on bars 3 and 4, I want to create bar 3 and 4, but maybe duplicate this, or not duplicate it, just extend it to bars 3 and 4, and then loop that part and like record that part, and then how do I loop the whole thing again? Like certain things like that are kind of tedious. That's why I don't spend time doing it, like with a mouse, a trackpad and stuff. But I was asking ChatGPT, how do I do that? How do I navigate through more interesting sounds, right, within Ableton? I'm spending a lot more time like out of the plugin world and more like in Ableton Suite, like, you know, these different instruments as opposed to sounds. So I gotta open this door, it's so hot in here. I feel like I'm talking fast too. But these different instruments instead of sound, so like going into something like Meld, or going into something like Wavetable, or what was the other one that I have sent to my collection? drift, I think. And those are like 3 instruments that you could say, all right, let me spend time within this instrument. And an instrument, of course, has a ton of different sound sort of types, piano, strings, pads, synth keys, etc., that are within that instrument. And I don't know, for me, it's just like, it's interesting. It's more intuitive, not even intuitive. It's just fun exploring it, exploring a way to make it make sense. And this is all going like down this journey of like me spending so much time talking about and really trying to live by this thing about not being distracted with other things that are being thrown my way that I shouldn't be considering or thinking about. And to that point, Electron. I've never touched an Electron product before in my life. I had super intrigue about Tonverk. I did a video on it like 2 years ago, and it was like a leaked image that ended up not being something real or whatever. But hey, as of yesterday, it is real. And I had intrigue. I'm like, this is a $1,600 product. I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not buying stuff right now. That's not the space I'm in. But I have access to it. I can get it for 90 days and use it if I want. But I'm like, that is kind of a distraction. That's gonna take me away from learning Ableton, isn't it? I'm talking about wanting to learn Ableton and spend time with it. Getting Tonverk is not gonna aid towards that at all, right? So it's like, you know, showing up and being, I guess, intentional this is like the first test on that. Whenever Teenage Engineering comes out with another product, maybe a looper that's rumored to come out, that's gonna be another test. Like, I'm gonna want it. I'm gonna want to get my hands on it. You know, but that's a little side note. But yeah, it's been cool. Just basically, I guess the summary in this video is using ChatGPT, which is about 90% correct. There was one thing that they said on there. I was like, wait a sec. I think there's an easier way to do this. And I researched it. I was like, oh, hey, by the way, that's not the best way, the way that you recommended. There is another way, a shortcut command that actually could do this much better. And it actually worked. So yeah, that's why I wanted to leave this video. Hopefully this, you know, inspired some of you, kind of like basically whatever your thing is that you use, your product, your app, your, you know, DAW, your piece of equipment, whatever. Like ChatGPT is kind of cool, or any, you know, of these large language models, to like be a place that you can ask questions. And like ChatGPT now, I'm not fully entrenched in it, but I know there was a time not too long ago where it wasn't searching the web for answers, and now it is. So sometimes I'll ask it a question and it searches the web. It like searches Reddit. This is an obscure question, but wait, someone on Reddit asked it before, and it finds the question, you know what I'm saying, and answers it. It's a dawn of a new era. It's quite interesting, I think quite intriguing, and I just wanted to show you guys, or share with you guys, that that's something that I've been finding a lot of value in as of today. Let's see if it continues as I move forward, but I feel inspired to go boot up the computer right now, which I think I'm going to do, and continue using Ableton, because I learned some new tricks and new things that I think make sense for me. That's enough talking. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.